Hey everyone, it's Alice, and I'm here with my October, November and December wrap-ups. So it's been a few months since we've done a wrap-up because we've barely been reading anything, and now I've got 6 books to wrap up for you that we've managed to read across 3 months, which isn't great for us considering we used to do wrap-ups that were like 20 books. But I've been reading good books, so I think that helps. I've got 3 5 stars to talk to you about today, which is lovely. I've got a 1 star and I've got 2 3 stars. So it's been a bit of an all over the place few months for my reading, but at least I've got some books to share with you that I've actually finished now, because it felt for a while like I was never going to finish a book ever again, and that wouldn't have been ideal for someone who has a booktube channel. So without further ado, let us go ahead and discuss these 6 books. So the first book I'm going to talk to you about, I'm going to talk about very briefly because I've already done a full half-an-hour rant review on this one, and that's As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. This is the 3rd and final book in the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, and it really disappointed me. I gave the other 2 books, I think 4 and 5 stars, or both of them 5 stars, but I really enjoyed both of them. And I was looking forward to this one, especially when I saw how chunky it was. I thought it was going to be a really satisfying conclusion to the story, but in all honesty, it should have been split into 2 books. It should have been a 4-book series, because everything in here is very rushed. There's some padding filler in the first half that makes the pace go ridiculously slowly, and then the second half is extremely rushed, and I wasn't a huge fan of the ending either, so I just had a lot of problems with this one. And as I said, I've already done a full rant review on this one, so if you'd like to hear more thoughts and some intensely spoilery thoughts for this one, go and watch that instead. Some other books that I've talked about enough that I'm not going to talk about much today are Red Rising and Golden Sun by P.S. Brown, because I've been rereading these with a work colleague and I'm loving them. Again, I always love them. They are amazing. 5 stars to both. The 4th or 5th time I've read Red Rising, the 3rd time I've read Golden Sun, and I still just can't get enough of these books. The thing I love the most about this series is that every time you reread it, you see more foreshadowing for the later books. So the last time I read these was before I'd read Iron Gold and Dark Age. And now obviously rereading them, having the context of the second half of this series in my mind, there is a lot of foreshadowing, particularly in Golden Sun. There's a lot of foreshadowing for the events that are occurring in Iron Gold and Dark Age, and I'm wondering whether when I reread Dark Age I'm going to appreciate it more second time round because of being able to see that P.S. Brown's been planning it all for quite a while. It just felt like it had come out of nowhere. So I'm looking forward to rereading those. I'm looking forward to rereading Morningstar. I'm loving rereading this series, and they will always be my favourite books, and honestly, I think this is the only thing that's getting me out of this reading slump, because I've got Darrow and his adventures with the Howlers and all of the drama to look forward to, and I just love them. However, I didn't particularly love the next book I'm going to talk about, which is The Echo Wife by Sarah Gailey. I borrowed this one from the library, and we read it pretty quickly, but considering it was like 200 pages, we should have been able to read it faster. And considering it was 200 pages, it felt like it was so long. This could have easily just been a novella. I don't know why it was as long as it was, because there's a lot of repetition, there's a lot of the same themes being explored over and over and over again. It's very draining to read. It's an interesting concept. A woman, her husband leaves her for herself because she's somebody who has invented cloning. Well, not invented cloning, but she's kind of streamlined it so that you can clone people and you can use them as bodyguards and as body doubles for like presidents and celebrities, and then when you're finished with them you just terminate them and start again with the next round. And so she's made these clones that are very much meant to be disposable, and her ex-husband makes a clone of her that he can have forever. And it's intense, and there's lots of kind of philosophical discussions about cloning and about what being alive truly means, and it was an interesting read. But I predicted basically everything that was going to happen, which was a shame because it meant that the things that were supposed to be surprises weren't really surprises. There was one great twist towards the end that neither Sean nor I saw coming. We'd both predicted it, but not at the degree that it happened. Trying not to get spoilery. But Sean has read a lot of clone books and seen a lot of clone TV shows and movies, so for him it didn't feel very fresh or interesting or new, and having read a few with him over the years, it didn't feel fresh or interesting or new to me either. I'm not sure why people love this as much as they do. I mean, I did give it 3 stars because it wasn't a bad book. I've read Sarah Gailey's When We Were Magic, and I gave that 2 stars, I think. So this is a book of theirs that I liked more, but I still didn't love it, and I still don't really understand the hype. However, a book I do understand the hype for, The House in the Sicilian Sea by TJ Klune. This is my other 5-star read, and it's a new favourite, and I'm going to be rereading this and comfort reading this whenever I'm feeling sad, because it's so cosy and uplifting, and it has such wonderful soul, and it's just great. I absolutely loved every second of this book. I struggled to read it because I was still in my reading slump, but it wasn't because of the book, it was just because of my brain. So I wanted to pick it up, and when we started reading it, I do this thing when I'm reading out loud to Sean when my brain takes too long to process the words I'm saying out loud, so I have to read like 3 sentences and then stop and reread those 3 sentences in my head before I can carry on. So it's very stoppy-starty, disjointed reading experience for both of us. But with this one, after the first page, I was reading chapters and chapters without pausing, and that's one of the biggest red flags that my mental health is going bad, when I'm pausing more frequently. And Sean was really impressed because he was like, wow, you're barely pausing at all. And I know, things are getting better, which is lovely. And yeah, it's getting better, and this helped a lot. The House in the Sicilian Sea features a guy called Linus who works for the department in charge of magical youth, and he has to go to the house in the Cerulean Sea to see how the owner of this kind of orphanage, Arthur, is doing with these children who are kind of, I don't want to say like, it's like they're classified kind of thing, because they're like the most magical of the magical children. There's a wyvern, there's the son of Lucifer, there's the only female dwarf gnome. There's the only female gnome in the entire world. Like, these are very, very special children, and Linus has to go, and his reaction when he gets there is just hilarious, because he's just so thoroughly overwhelmed by it all, because he's done a lot of these visits in the past, but he's never encountered children quite like these. And I just loved it. Like, everything that it says about being different and societal acceptance, and just, at the end of the day, they're just children, and oh, I love them so much. I love every single character in this book. There is not a character that I would change. There was not a moment of this book that I would change, and I'm a very, very picky person. Like, even in Red Rising Golden Sun, there are bits that I would possibly do differently if I wrote it myself, but with this one, it's just flawless. Absolutely flawless, and I'm so looking forward to picking up Under the Whispering Door, and I should have done it already, and I'm glad that I've read this, because I didn't think it would live up to the hype, and it completely surpassed the hype for me. It's one of my favourite books of all time, and I think this is going to end up becoming a yearly reread for me. And just read it. Just reread it. I'm going to reread it, because it's just amazing. I loved this. Loved. And then we're going to end this on a bum note, because where The House in the Cerulean Sea was on my best books of 2021 list, Meet Cute Diary by Emery Lee was on my worst books of 2021 list. I've already ranted a little bit about this in that video, so I'm not going to say too much today, but the main character in this book is just so thoroughly unlikable that it makes it very difficult to like the story, and I found that so disappointing, because this had been one of my anticipated reads of 2021. I know it was an extremely hyped release, and the ratings have just kind of tanked since it came out, because a lot of people don't like Noah, who is the main character. And it's just the fact that they're very self-absorbed, and they don't seem to be living in the real world, so they're spending all the money on their parents' credit card, and then their parents take the credit card away, and they get really intensely pissy about it, and then they've got to get a summer job, and all they bitch about is the fact that they've got to have this summer job. But it's like, you've just been spending all of your parents' money. Learn some responsibility. And I know it's a YA book, so it's probably because it's teens, but it's meant to be on the older end of YA. Like, I've got a feeling that Noah's either 17 or 18, So if it was younger, if they were like 14 or 15, then possibly I might find it more buyable. But I just didn't find it authentic or believable at all. I liked the way that the book was broken up into different sections. So Noah's sections are like the ideal steps of a relationship. So the grand gesture, the fall, the breakup, the reunion, all these kinds of things are the way that the book is broken up. And I thought that was an interesting idea. And there are also Tumblr posts or Tumblr comments between every section. So it breaks up the flow of the story nicely. But I honestly can't believe how long it took us to read this one. We started it in either August or September. It lapsed on the library, and then I borrowed it again, and then it lapsed on the library again, and then I borrowed it again, and we finally managed to finish it. But it was a slog, and if I'm honest, we probably should have DNF'd it. So yes, 1 star for Meet Cute Diary by Emery Lee, and yeah, a sad time that I didn't end up enjoying that book as much as I wanted to. And those are the 6 books that we've read in the last 3 months. I know it's not as many as we normally do, but half of these are 5 stars. So that's a good time. And I'm at the position where we're likely to be finishing another 2 books in the next week or so. So you might actually get a January wrap-up from us, because we might have enough books to talk about, which would be nice. It would be good to get back to doing these monthly, because I do like sharing what we've been reading and talking about new things and seeing your guys' reaction to these books as well. But yeah, it's just not been happening at the moment. If you like this video, please give it a like, and if you'd like to subscribe, we'd be super duper grateful. We are so close to 600 subscribers, and it would be really awesome to get there. So if you would like to recommend our channel to anybody, we'd be super grateful for it, and we will send you cookies virtually through the internet. If you've read any of these books, please share your thoughts on them. Let me know which was your favourite, which was your least favourite, if there are any similar to these books that you'd recommend. If there's anything like The House in the Sicilian Sea, please hit me up, because I need more like that, because that was so wholesome and so comforting. Oh, I loved it. Right. Thank you for watching. We've got 1 more day of Bookmas left after today, so we will see you tomorrow, and then we'll have a couple of days off, which will be nice. I think we need it. Thank you for watching. Bye. Bye.